Hello everyone. Let us talk about hijab and freedom of religion. Recently, a news was made when uh, when some girls in a school in Karnataka were disbanded to attend the school because they were wearing hijab, and thereafter there was a lot of protest from the Muslim side and also from the other sides that is wearing hijab in school in education institutions should be prohibited or not. Then there were protests, and at the end, the government of Karnataka had to announce a 3 day holiday to stop these protests, 3 day holidays in the educational institutions to stop this protest. But soon we saw that this complete case got nationalized and very soon internationalized. The state medias and spokespersons of the governments of Turkey, China, and Pakistan uh, made the fake news according to their propaganda. Because of their propaganda, they made a few fake news that in India wearing a hijab is a crime now, and all these fake propagandas against India was propagated by these countries and their news outlets. But the scenario is that in one state there is some tussle between the authorities, and this case is now in the court, and finally it is said that the case will reach the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court will make the finest decision. So let us talk about wearing hijab in educational institutions and also the public places. Is it good or bad? So there are two aspects of it. It is not white, it is not black, it is gray. So talking about the whiter side is that the hijab should be that the why what is the problem in wearing hijab? Well, there are some problems, and there are some valid problems, because wearing hijab shows a symbol of is a symbol of a patriarchal society, because majority of the time women does not wear hijab out of their choice, and that is imposed on them by their religious and their family leaders. So this clearly indicates that there is a lack of women empowerment in the society. And in the country like India, with such a hot climate, it is also very difficult for women and girls to wear hijab in in uh, the outdoors. So it clearly indicates that there is an imposition of dress code on the women of a Muslim community. But there is another side to it also, because hijab is a part of Muslim tradition also. And mm, in majority of the Muslim countries, hijabs are worn by the Muslim women, and it is shown as a tradition. It is a cultural and religious symbol. So banning such a thing and prohibiting people from wearing and propagating their tradition and culture is not a thing that the constitution supports, because in the article 25 it indicates that it is the fundamental right of any person to practice and propagate any religion of his choice. And that is why according to the constitution, we cannot prohibit people from wearing hijab. So this is clearly a battle of freedom of choice versus women empowerment. And uh, and although the Constitution of India supports secularism, but secularism in itself is very subjective. Because if we talk about soft secularism, then this is the idea which is adopted by the countries like USA and India to a great extent. It indicates that every religion will be is free to every religion is free to practice its own practices, and the government will not interfere. But there is another side to it, and that is a hard secularism, which is followed by the European countries, the European Union itself, and France also, because France recently banned hijab in its institutions. Is that is that no one will be that there will be a uniformity, and no extra symbol of religion can be shown in the institutions. So these are two kinds of secularism, and there is a battle between which one should be adopted, because there are pros and cons of both the sides. So the question arises that should hijab be banned from the education institutions? The answer is a big no, because there are several big and valid reasons for that. Number one, there is no clear line that where to ban the religious symbols, because at various places in India, people from different communities, people from different religious groups wear their religious symbols, and they are allowed till now also. If the government bans them all, then there will be a outbreak of protests, riots, and such things will be happening in the country, which is obviously not desirable. uh, the government of India has given certain privileges to the people who practice their religion and wear their religious symbols, like wearing hijabs are legal in any place people can wear. Wearing turbans are also legal. Also, although the government of India although the government of India says in its guidelines and laws that helmet should be wear by the person who is riding a two wheeler, but the people who wear turban are given a certain relaxation in that they had not to wear the helmet. Such relaxations are there also in the armed forces, we can see, because the beard and the turban is a thing that the Sikh personals have to wear to follow their religion. And the government, the defense ministry, and the armed forces have no objection to it. They have allowed the people who are coming from the religious backgrounds like Sikhism, in which the beard and turban are a mandatory ritual, and the government and armed forces are also eased out. So there is some relaxation given to for the people who want to practice their religion. But in the case if we ban hijab, then why not? Then there will be other things which also can be banned. So it is not clear that where to draw the lines. And also and also the another drawback if we ban hijab will be that lesser number of Muslim girls will be enrolled in the school, because of obvious reasons, the patriarchal society, and and the and the dominant male leaders of the families will restrict the girls to go out and study in educational institutions without a hijab. So this will be a problem, because we want the inclusion of females in the economy, and for that we must educate them. And if such things happen, then it will be very difficult for India to include the females in its economy very well. And uh, and there are a lot of reasons why we should not ban hijab in educational institutions, because as I mentioned before, the tradition part is always there, and everyone is free to to practice their own traditions. And also, France banned hijabs from its institutions, and now it is seen that the Muslim community in France is not seen well integrated in the France society. Surveys show that. So this will create a barrier. This will create a wall between the communities, and a divide will be created. So banning hijab in the education institutions is not a good option at all. But does that mean that we should not regulate things? The answer is no, because the way ahead is that there must be some regulations, um, like the institutions should be given the power to decide whatever they want to do. Also also in the dress code, if we're talking about the dress code, then in schools there is certain dress code. So the color, like it has always been done, like if a Sikh boy is in class, then he generally matches his turban with the dress code of with the color code of the school uniform. And same can be done for hijab, and it has been done till now. So such small regulations should be there. And uh, and the education institutions should be given some power to uh, decide what the students need. And one solution and a must solution is there, that the students should be taught the religious tolerance, that if someone is practicing and propagating its own religion, his or her own religion, then there is no problem in that, and the students must be tolerant enough for other students also. Uh, the that is a must do for the government, because today we are standing at a point where we are aiming to become Atmanirbhar and $5 trillion economy and a superpower, and we are still having such issues where there are protests between two communities, there are riots, and people are not willing to see another people promote their own religion. So this is not the desirable thing that we want in the country. We are landing on the Mars. We are aiming for startups. We are having we will be almost touching 100 unicorns in the country, and we have some great aims like 2070 zero carbon emission. So with such huge aims, we must eradicate such small and very speed breaking problems, because these things, if these things persist in the society, it clearly indicates that the society is backward. So such things can be eradicated by teaching religious tolerance to the students and the citizens as well. And also and also we should not let others decide. We should not let external pressure come inside and influence the people. So the people must be made aware of being away from the external influence like Pakistani, Chinese, or Turkish influence, fake propaganda. So people must be aware of that, and that's how India will stay integrated, and there will be unity in diversity. Thank you very much.